What's up guys, this is Cobus. This is the review video for these amazing new Sabian cymbals. They're called the big and ugly cymbals because they're big and they're kind of ugly, but but they're like the good ugly, like they look good. They're so ugly that they look good, you know what I mean? I thought I would have some fun with them and kind of put together a almost standard setup for this medley that I just played, which mostly consists of, I'd say, pop songs and some rock songs and some metal stuff, but mostly modern music. These cymbals are, I feel like they're super diverse and they work really well, but they're not just modern cymbals. They're not entirely predictable, which I friggin' love. If you think about your favorite cymbal, well, depending on your taste, like if I think about when I started playing, and even maybe up until a few years ago, I really liked the cymbals to be painfully predictable. Like I wanted them to be so consistent that regardless of where I hit the cymbal, let's talk about a ride, regardless of where I hit the ride with the tip of the stick, I want it to sound the same. I don't want it to change too much from the bell to the bow of the cymbal. These cymbals are so expressive that if you move a few inches to the left or to the right or closer to the bell or further away from the bell, the sound changes dramatically. So if you're looking for depth, if you're looking for an insane dynamic range, if you're looking for butter and thickness and texture and depth. Yeah, I threw butter in there. I know it's kind of weird, but just go with it. Then these are perfect. They're amazing. I try to put something together that's mostly and kind of tonally close to a conventional setup, but these are not crashes or rides. They're just cymbals, but they're not like, you don't get 22-inch crash. You get a 22-inch Apollo. How cool is that name, by the way? So they're not distinctly crashes or rides, but I tried to put together a setup that kind of serves that purpose. So I'll just quickly talk you guys through the setup from left to right, then you can know exactly what I played and kind of why I played it. So on the left-hand side, I've got a 22-inch HHX Phoenix. This is one of the brightest cymbals out of the Big and Ugly series. My main crash, well, my main left crash is a 22-inch Apollo AA. This reminds me of a 40-year-old cymbal. It sounds so vintage to me. My main ride was an HH 24-inch King. This thing is probably my favorite cymbal out of the bunch. So articulate, but then also it's got so much depth when you crash on it and it doesn't choke. I think this is probably my favorite out of the bunch. I think I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna have to ask Sabian very nicely, but I think I want to keep this one. It sounds amazing. Then my main crash on my right-hand side is an HH Nova 22-inch. Crashed this thing a ton of times. It's quite dry, but it's really low and kind of beastly. And I feel like it kind of commands respect because it's not a wussy little thin cymbal. I really enjoyed using that as my main crash. And then on the right-hand side, I've got this piece of madness that started out as an experiment and they kind of turned into such a rad sound, something I really enjoyed using. And it's a 24-inch HH Pandora on top of a 22-inch Pandora, also HH. I put it on a hi-hat stand so I can kind of control the pressure between the two cymbals, and I think it sounds unreal. But yeah, this is the lineup. It was a challenge for me, to be honest, to play these cymbals because I come from a self-taught background. I only started getting lessons a few years ago. And my style is still developing, aggressively still developing. So I was kind of intimidated by the dynamic range and the tonal range that you can get out of these cymbals. And but it's the best kind of intimidation. It was so like liberating in terms of a creative standpoint. It feels like if you're looking for vocabulary, you're looking for, obviously as drummers, we have patterns and techniques and phrases that we use to express ourselves, but we do all of that with tones and with voices, right? With the tones of the drums and the tones of the cymbals. And if you're looking for vocabulary in terms of tones from the cymbals, then these cymbals offer a virtually limitless vocabulary. Like I said, if you move around on the cymbal moves with you and it speaks in a totally different way. You move closer to the bell, the sound changes drastically. You move further away from it, it changes drastically. These cymbals will definitely not be the limiting factor to your playing. If you're looking to express yourself, these cymbals are basically saying whatever you want to say, I'll help you say it. And like I said, it's kind of a little bit intimidating, especially for somebody like me who's mostly into rock stuff and funk stuff. I guess I'm getting a little bit more into fusion and that kind of stuff and a bit more funk and maybe even a bit of a jazz, but it was so rad for me to play these cymbals and be stretched by these cymbals. If they're in a music store close to you, just go there and just hit them and be intimidated, as I was. But they're amazing, they're incredible. And a big thank you to Sabian for letting me play these before many others will get the chance to. I feel like it's a huge honor and I really appreciate it. So yeah, I had so much fun playing these cymbals and messing around with them. If you want to see the medley that I used them in, is that good English? I don't even know. If you want to see the medley wherein I used these cymbals, I'm going to put a annotation right there. I don't know where I'm pointing, but I'll put an annotation right there. If you want to see the drums only version of that medley, I'll put an annotation right there. You can click on either of these videos if you want. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.